Hello beautiful faces, thanks for stopping by whether you are new or returning. Today I'm going to be doing the June reading wrap up. Now I know I am a couple of days late, I think it's already like the 4th of July, but I only really get time to film on the weekends because this is not my job. So yes, I'm a couple of days late, but we are going to be doing the June reading wrap up. So I managed to read 4 books, so let's just get into the genre breakdown. So we read 4 books and we also DNF'd one, so we had our first DNF of the year, so I'll touch on that. I don't want to speak about it for too long because I try and keep my channel positive. I don't really want to talk about books that I didn't enjoy, but obviously I'll mention it. So 2 of them were contemporary romances, one of them is a manga, and one of them is a dark romance, and then the one that we DNF'd was also a dark romance. So let's just jump right into it. So I started out the month continuing with the Dream Harbour series by Laurie Gilmore. Now you might be wondering what I mean continuing if I'm holding the first book. So I did something a little bit wild and a little bit different, and when I started this series I didn't start with book 1, which is very different for me because usually I will always start with book 1, but in December last year I read The Christmas Tree Farms, which was book 3, because I really wanted to read a Christmassy book, and that one out of all of the Christmas books kind of like spoke to me. It's like, oh, you need to read this, you need to read this. So I read it, and this is an interconnected standalone series, so you don't have to read them in order anyway, but I wanted to go back and I wanted to read like the start of it all. So this is the Pumpkin Spice Cafe, so this is Janine and what's the guy's name, and Logan's story. So Janine inherits a cafe in Dream Harbour. I think if I remember correctly, she was living in New York. She was living somewhere like high, busy and bustly, like, you know what I mean? And Dream Harbour's like quaint and quiet, so like small town. So that's where she moves to, and she starts having some issues because she thinks that there's like an evil spirit she can't go to sleep at night. And this is where the male main character comes in, because he offers to help her find her issue, and it brings them together, and she opens up the cafe, and this is just really cute and fun, hallmarky with spice. That's how she markets it, and I really liked it. I think I'm gonna give it about a 4-star, and then maybe either a 2 or a 3 for the chili, maybe a 2. Yeah, I'll go with a 2 for the chili and 4 stars. I really liked this. It's not like 5-star material or anything like that, but I did enjoy my time, and I will be reading the rest of these. I'm actually so excited because she just put up on her Instagram that she's coming out with a novella and book 6, even though I think she said somewhere, or my friend was telling me that, like, no, don't you know that book 5's it? But she's coming out with a 6th one. So that's really exciting, even though I still got to read book 2, and then I got to read book 4 as well. So I don't know when I'll read those, but I'll read those eventually. But I am really enjoying this series so far. Next, unfortunately, was the DNFs. So I started a dark romance on my Kindle called His Revenge. I forget who it's by. It was on my Kindle. My Kindle's in like somewhere. I can't be bothered going to get it right now. I'll put a photo up on the screen and you'll be able to see who it's by. I just personally, it wasn't for me. I read the first few chapters and just was like, nope, this is not for me in the slightest. I didn't think it was the best written. I found it hard to get through, so I just had to put it down. I just don't think that this is for me. It might be for you, so you might want to pick it up and you might love it. And it's only a duo apparently, so if I had completed it there would have only been 1 left, but I just don't think that this is for me. I really was not enjoying myself, so I stopped. I was still in a dark romance mood though, and really wanted to read one, so we picked up Bound by Shadows by K.T. Madden. This is obviously it's a dark romance. It's also a why choose, and loved it. Absolutely loved it. I frothed me a why choose. Like, oh my god, I frothed me a why choose. I don't know what it is. I kind of just knew that after not loving His Revenge, I was like, you know what? Let's just do a why. I think I need a White Shoes. I don't remember the last time I read a White Shoes, and I love me a White Shoes, so let's just read a White Shoes. And I'm so thankful that I did, because I really enjoyed myself. I really did. It's so good. So you have Sable, who's the female main character. She transfers from one university to a different university, and the first of the 4 MMCs that you meet is a guy named Silas. Now, Silas and Sable have history. They used to, I think they grew up together in the same neighborhood, and I think they went to the same schools. I don't fully remember. I read this towards the beginning of the month, but yeah, they have history because they grew up together. They weren't necessarily friends, but their parents were friends. So they were like acquaintances. Like I said, they grew up together, so they have some history together, and they don't really like each other. So it is the tiniest bit enemies to lovers. Silas is like the second last of the 4 to get on board. So what I mean by that is there are 3 other MMCs. So you've got Kai, Dayton, and Levi. Kai and Dayton are like enamored with Sable when they first meet her. They're the first to fall for her and really like her and care for her. Silas is next because of their history, and they don't like each other in the beginning. Levi's last. Levi's like the brooding, isn't really sure if he wants to commit. He doesn't want to be hurt, because they had a girl in the past. So there's this girl called Victoria, and they were like together. Like, this is pre-Sable, but she hurt them all. So Levi's a bit, what if Sable hurts us like Victoria did? And everyone else is trying to be like, hey, like, Sable's not Victoria. Like, you want her, come on. So eventually he gets on board. Eventually he does get on board. And I absolutely love it. You know what I loved about it, though? Because it wasn't a traditional dark romance. It didn't read like a traditional dark romance, because there's also a thriller element to it. So there are some murders that happen on campus, so they're also trying to figure out who done it. And I just found this book to be so interesting. Like, I'm giving it 5 stars for its originality, because like I just said, it didn't really read like a traditional dark romance. It had like a thriller element to it. I feel like if you were to put thriller and dark romance together, you would get a book like this, and then you had a White Shoes element, and you get a book like this, like a spicy thriller. Like, it was I absolutely loved it. And then there's a plot twist at the end, because she's releasing these. I found out that I thought it was going to be a series involving them, because they do get a second book, and it kind of ends on a cliffhanger and a plot twist, because there's a plot twist at the end, and oh my god, I'm not going to say anything, but like, whoa. I took everything I knew about that book and threw it in the trash with that plot twist. Like, whoa. Anyways, there is going to be a second book, and it follows the same set of characters. But then there's going to be a third book, but it's going to follow a different set of characters. It still plans to be White Shoes. It's basically I thought it was going to be a proper series, but it's actually going to be an interconnected series, kind of duo-y style. Think of the Crowns of Nyaxia series, that fantasy series by Carissa Broadbent, how she's releasing like in duos. That's kind of what KT Madden, I think, is doing, because book 3 follows different characters, but book 2 is going to be a direct continuation from book 1, and I'm very, very excited, because it's genuinely one of the best dark romances out there at the moment. Like, so original. I haven't read anything like it. Yes, I've read White Shoes, but you take that aside, and I just have not read anything like it. It was one of the coolest books, and I really want to get more into like dark romance with thriller elements. It's made me really just, I really want to read more books that are like that. And I have a book that's like that on my TBR. There's a book on my TBR called Soul Survivor by Candace Wright, and that is supposedly it's dark romance and thriller. So that's like really high up on the TBR now, because I loved Bound by Shadows so much, and so I really want to read more books that are kind of like Bound by Shadows. I just really loved it. I think it probably is the best book I read all month, because I just thoroughly enjoyed myself. It's probably the favorite of the month. So original, haven't read anything like it before, and it was honestly just great. Next, we read a sports romance. You know I love my sports romances. I read a lot on my Kindle this month because this was also on my Kindle. So I read Sin Bin by Anastasia White. I also did some of it as an audiobook until I ran out of Spotify free listening hours, which I think is the most stupid thing ever because I pay for the premium. So I don't know why I'm getting any form of restrictions because I pay for premium, but oh well. Anyways, when I ran out of listening hours, I switched to reading it on the Kindle and then just finished the whole thing on Kindle because I knew I wasn't going to get more listening hours until next month, and then I wouldn't have finished Sin Bin in the month, and I really wanted to finish Sin Bin, of course. I liked it. It wasn't the best thing ever. I found it to be similar to other sports romances I read before. So I did enjoy my time, and I am going to be giving it like a 3.5 stars because I enjoyed it. But it wasn't anything special. It wasn't anything original. It wasn't something I hadn't read before. Like, it was just like an ordinary sports romance. It fits the mold. And I think just coming off of Bound by Shadows, which was so original and creative, to read something what I like to call the mold, I was just like, you're only really getting a 3.5 stars. Like, I enjoyed it. You were fun. You were spicy. And I will continue the series, even though I'll probably take a bit of a break before I continue the series. It just wasn't anything fantastic. I think just when I read something amazing and then I go into something that's just not as amazing, I feel a little bit let down. I was just like, I think I just thought that Sin Bin would be the best thing ever, and then disappointed that it wasn't the best thing ever, because I truly do love sports romances. I really, really enjoy sports romances, and I just didn't love this one. I kind of just was like, you're good enough to continue. You were fun and spicy. Like, the spice was awesome, of course, but it just wasn't amazing. I didn't get blown out of the water with it. So we follow a girl called Ava, and how she first meets the male main character is in the first chapter, when she is locked outside of her dorm room because her roommate is having a threesome with the male main character and the male main character's best friend. Now, she's not actually locked out. She could barge in if she wanted to. And that's exactly what she does. She barges in and she ruins their night because, hello, it's my room too. I'd like to go to bed. And so it kind of creates a little bit of an enemies sort of thing. I know that enemies is really only for fantasy, so maybe I should use the word rivals. But the male main character, Colton, really does not like Ava for ruining the night with the roommate. So they have some, he does some things to her that's not the best. Then they get together, he slowly starts caring about her, and then they get into a bit of a friends with benefits relationship. And so that's how that kind of comes about. I also didn't love the ending either. It did feel very rushed. So I will warn you now for some spoilers, and also warning you because there is third act pregnancy. So pregnancy is used as a third act trope. Now, I actually didn't mind that. That's not the part that I hated, but I hated how it all just seemed to wrap up like that when she gets pregnant. Like, she got pregnant and she didn't want to tell him at first because he kind of ran away. But he thought he was doing a good thing because he heard that she was pregnant from that roommate. Because the roommate finds a pregnancy test, and the roommate's like a bitch, by the way. Anyway, so he finds out that she's pregnant, and he just thinks that he should start planning for the future. So he goes off and he signs a contract because he wants to have a good, stable job because he's in love with her, even though they claim they're not dating and they're still just having fun, but he loves her. Anyway, she thought that it was him running away and wanting nothing to do with her or the baby. So she gets annoyed at him, don't talk to me, fuck off. But then they do get back together and it's fine. But what I didn't love is that it kind of just all of a sudden they wanted to get married. I thought, what I didn't like, the baby is not what I didn't like. I didn't like the proposal at the end. I thought that was so rushed. That was so rushed. Oh my God, that was so rushed. She was like, oh, do you want to marry me? Oh my God. And I'm like, are you just asking her to marry her because of the baby? There's a part of me that's would you have proposed if there was no baby? And because they only got together not that far off from them like proposing. So for a good majority of the book, they claimed they weren't dating, they were just having fun or whatever, even though everyone could tell that like they were definitely more than friends with benefits, but they didn't want to admit it to themselves. Then like a good 3/4 into the book, they finally admit it to themselves. They start calling each other boyfriend, girlfriend. And then not long after that, we have the baby thing, which is fine. Again, I didn't mind the baby thing. But like not long after the baby thing, he was proposing, and I'm like, that's what I just thought. I just thought that the ending was so rushed. So I didn't love the ending. I loved like the middle section of the book. That was fun and spicy, and I liked the plot. And she has her best friend, and then she's also really good friends with that friend's brother, and it's like a whole thing. And I just thought it was really fun. It was really like, I liked the middle section. It was fun. Just didn't love the ending. But again, but it just also, like I said, it wasn't anything special. It didn't blow me out of the water. I'll continue, because 3.5, that's still a pretty decent rating. It's just not the world's most amazing rating, because it wasn't the world's most amazing book. I'll continue. Like I said, I'm probably going to take a little bit of a break. I do want to continue, but I'm not going to be continuing like right now. I want to have a couple of months just reading other stuff first. Now, after finishing Sin Bin, I did feel like I was possibly getting in a bit of a slump. Just because, yes, I loved About My Shadows, but I didn't love Sin Bin as much, and we even had a DNF this month. I just was really unsure what to read. I think I just needed to read something very left of field. Something that I haven't actually read in a while, but I knew that I was going to enjoy. We read a manga. Now, I started my manga journey last year, and I read 4 volumes of Tokyo Ghoul, which I actually really enjoyed, but for some reason I just didn't continue on. I don't know why, I just did not continue on, and ever since then I haven't read manga. So I just decided, why not I just pick up manga again? Because I remember enjoying myself, and there's a lot of manga series that I have on my TBR. I just haven't picked a manga up since last year. But I didn't want to pick up Tokyo Ghoul again. I do want to finish Tokyo Ghoul, I definitely do. And I'm probably going to pick up some Tokyo Ghoul in July. But I just wanted to maybe just see if there was a one-shot out there, or if there was a series where only the first volume was out for. So we picked up this. So this is Love Nest. This is by Yu Minaduki, which I hope I've said that correctly. This is a spicy BL. This is the first volume. So there does plan to be more volumes of this released. I actually really liked this. I'm going to give this a solid 4 stars. So this is also a little slice of life-y. So not a ton goes on. It's kind of like their everyday lives, but it's also a romance and it's spicy. So this is definitely 18 plus, and this was something that I'd never read before, because I'd never read like a spicy BL manga, because this isn't just spicy wording, there are also spicy pictures. So we all know what a manga is. These are Japanese style comics. So I tried to find a page that wasn't spicy, because I wasn't about to show that on YouTube. So this was just like a normal page that I found, and I kind of just wanted to show you what it was like. You probably all know what manga is. I actually thoroughly enjoyed this. I'm giving it a solid 4 stars. Didn't like blow me out of the water, but I did very much enjoy it. So I would definitely continue on when they make new volumes of this. I'm unsure how long it will go for. Usually romance manga tends to not go for as long as other manga. I actually really enjoyed this book, and it kind of like rekindled my love for manga. And the first 2 books that I read in July, because yes, I am filming this in July, were manga as well, which I'm not talking about those until I do the July reading wrap up. But I thoroughly enjoyed my time with those ones as well. So we liked Love Nest. This was good solid 4 stars. Again, I'm probably going to give this maybe like a 2 or a 3, maybe a 3 for the spicy scale of this. So if you don't know what BL is boy love. So this is basically, it's the manga way of saying MM, so it's 2 dudes, it's gay. So I really liked this. I didn't know how I was going to feel because I hadn't, like I said, I hadn't touched a manga since last year. But I really like this. I really like this. So this is the story of a guy, which let me just read the names on the back because they're Japanese names and they're hard to pronounce. So Masato is one of the MMCs. So Masato's kind of down on his luck and he needs somewhere to stay because where he's currently staying, there are a lot of loud noises keeping him up at night. And he kind of wants to stay somewhere else. So he's got a friend that said, you know, you can stay at my second house. So she has a second house that he can stay at. So he takes her up on that offer. And then she goes, oh, also just wanted to let you know that there's somebody else staying at the second house too, so you wouldn't be alone at the second house. Now that's where we meet the second male main character, so the one that Masato gets with. Now I don't know how to pronounce this. I looked at it and thought that his name was Asahi, like the Asahi beer. So I was saying Asahi, but it might also be Asahi, perhaps. I don't know, but I was saying Asahi like the beer because that's how his name was spelled. So Masato and Asahi, they get together. Asahi is a architect. He smokes. Masato hates that he smokes, but Asahi continues to smoke anyway. Also a bit of an age gap because Asahi's a bit older than Masato. So, you know, there's that dynamic there because Masato, I think Masato's, what is he, 31, 32? And then you've got Asahi that's like 40 or 39. Like he's like Masato's early 30s and Asahi is late 30s. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. I like did not know what to expect going into it, and I really liked this. I really liked this. Rightio, that is it for today's video. Just wanted to, like I said, do my June read and wrap up. Really enjoyed the books that I read this month, like I said, except for that one DNF, unfortunately. But that is it. That's all for today's video. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please consider leaving a thumbs up and consider subscribing if you love books just as much as I do. Rightio, I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.